Ready? I think you just need to tap the okay. Hey guys, Dr. Emmett Blahnik, founder of NextLevelHealth.com. I'm your virtual health expert here to help get you to the next level with your health, happiness, and your lifestyles. And today's topic of discussion is about immune health because I'm getting asked questions like crazy right now. And so what I want to do is I'm going to try to just talk about bringing healthy back, kind of like bringing sexy back, but we're bringing healthy back. I'm going to go through a couple of tips, tricks, and things that I think you should be doing, not only for yourself, but maybe for your kids. Here's what I'm going to go through. I'm going to go through what I would do. Okay, so what I would do to help improve my immune health, which is really just bringing healthy back. So let's get started. We know now that more than ever before in history, that health obviously is a priority. And so I want to make sure that we're keeping things in perspective. And so as we talk about health, we're going to talk about how your immune health relates to overall health. So we have to begin to move the needle in terms of relating the two, interconnecting the two. And I promise you, if you stay tuned towards the end, I'm going to be giving away some gifts and things like that as well. So hang in there. The content is rich. I'm going to try to keep it simple, so we're not going to get bogged down into a lot of the, I would say, science and research. And the purpose of this for me, for you, is that you would spark up the conversation about the things that we're talking about, so that you would be able to look into the science and the research for yourself, that you could do your own homework. So the things that we're discussing, they're time tested. The information is available to you. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm Dr. Emmett Blahnik, founder of NextLevelHealth.com, and I'm going to talk a couple of things relating to eating, like what you should and shouldn't be eating. And one of those things that might help you is if you go to our website, you can download this. I think it's going to be up there for just another week, but you can go to our website and download my surf channel challenge, which is really what that means is simply eat real foods. That's actually going to play a part in the things that you can do proactively for your health. And that's the purpose of today's topic, is that we don't want to be reactive. We want to actually be proactive. I think of it like this. If you know you got a boxing match coming, not that you're boxers, but if you got a boxing match coming up, it's ahead of you in the future, you know you're going to face off with that opponent. The person conditioned, the person that's trained and done the work, they're going to be better prepared for that battle. And so my concern is being in a reactive mode, that we're not conditioning the things we need to prepare for that battle. And so what we've seen is that health does play a role, overall health, and we're going to try to tie some systems together to help you get to the next level with your health, happiness, and lifestyles. Go ahead if you want. You can always like us on Facebook and share it. Spread the health, because what I do know is this conversation has to happen more in your families, in our communities. We can start talking about things that will help you with your health. So again, the topic for tonight is immune health. Whether you're like Mary here, Mary's in her 70s, losing over 80 pounds. The purpose of me showing you this is just know that any size, any age, if you make a commitment and you decide that you want to transform your health, maybe you need a little bit more guidance, maybe you need some assistance, maybe you just need somebody to hold your hand. I want to be that wellness champion for you, but just know that if Mary can do it and Tim can do it, Tim's, I believe he's in his 60s, losing 60 plus pounds, total transformation and commitment to their health. And so we're going to start with that definition of health. So I just kind of brought up here for you the medical definition of health. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about that word health. So if we're going to talk about immune health, I want you to know what health is. A lot of people think they're healthy if their symptoms or they're feeling good, you know, and so that dismays me, because when do most people find out they have heart disease? A heart attack, you know, and so you could actually have disease and no symptoms for a long time, feeling fine. It doesn't mean you don't have something underneath the hood. Kind of think of it like this, you know, 90% of the iceberg's under the water, you can't see that. And so we want to focus on not just how you're feeling, but also whether you're healthy. So health, we kind of look at it this way. Health is 100% optimal function and healing of your body. So we're going to come back to this word function and health often as it relates to your immune health. So understand that health is 100% function and healing of the body. So as we look at disease, dis-ease, that's really a state of malfunction and disorder or degeneration of the body. So when you get symptoms is the question. You know, going back to things like heart disease or something even more horrific like cancer. Most people don't know they have a deadly terminal disease until it's too late or until it's in its end stages. So we can't merely base how we're doing with our health, particularly our immune health, solely on how we feel. And I think that's a big important piece. But the problem is a lot of times we're talking about alternative things, and that's an important word. If you want an alternative to drugs and medicine, then this is the alternative that we're talking about. But if you have some symptoms, what do most people do with their symptoms? They just try to cover it up. Again, we're focused on real health, which is getting you to the next level with that. So wherever you're at, if you were like Mary or you were like Tim or, you know, a plethora of other people, start pouring in and learning more about ways you can naturally improve your immune health, but naturally improve your overall health. But don't base it solely on your symptoms. We want to really focus on functions. But here's the key. Let's say that you do have a symptom, a warning light. Here's some common symptoms of a compromised immune system, a compromised health. So if you're seeing some of these symptoms, we need to, again, pour into your health and not merely just be reactive. By all means, please do not just cover it up with duct tape. Your check engine light is on. That is not what you want to do. We want to address this and slay the day. So we're going to go now from health. Health is a state of optimal function to what is immune health. Well, let me ask you guys, which organ in the body is the immune organ? Which vitamin in the body is the immune vitamin? Which hormone in the body is the immune hormone? If you're kind of like, where's he going with the bottom line is there's no organ called the immune organ. Otherwise, it would be, by definition, the immune organ. So there's a plethora of organs that kind of work together in a system along with those vitamins and minerals and hormones and biochemistry, neurological systems that contribute into the entire thing. But it's not one thing that is going to help you with your immune health. It's how they all are interconnected and work together. But if you solely focus on one thing, for instance, I'm going to be talking about vitamin C. If you're solely focused on vitamin C, we're going to be missing the bigger picture of actually getting you healthier, happier, and improving your lifestyle. So as we get started on a couple tips and tricks, I want you to understand how other systems relate to your immune system, because if you're neglecting some of these other areas, you're going to be paying the piper. So one area that we're going to focus on and discuss is things related to your digestive system, which is why we're going to talk about superfoods, which is why we're going to talk about bone broth and collagen. It's been estimated that up to about 60 to 80%, I'm going to say 70% of your immune system, your immune functions are regulated and influenced by your digestive system. So if you have a toxic gut, your immune system is going to be weakened. So we have to also start to address what's being ingested and what's happening with your intestines, whether you have increased intestinal permeability, often called like leaky gut type of syndrome, but those things will play a dramatic impact in your overall immune health. So just know that as we talk about digestion, it's not just about eating better, it's about improving your immune system, your immune health. Interestingly enough, if you've ever, I hear this often, like I got that gut feeling. What interestingly enough is when you're toxic in your gut or your digestive system's a wreck, just know that that can also lead to emotionally things, higher stress levels, more depression, because serotonin, the often commonly known as the feel-good hormone, that's also produced majority in your gut. So if you want to feel bad, wreck your gut, have a toxic gut. We're going to try to clean up the leaky gut or the digestive system, and just keep that in perspective. So first step here, we're going to get into it now. Hang in there. Before I get started, I'm going to walk through my steps here on things you should be adding and applying, adapting, or things that I would do, I should say. And always consult with your physicians, your primary care physicians. But again, if you're looking for medicine, you should be talking to a medical doctor. If you're looking for an alternative to more drugs, then you need to be looking and talking about alternatives. So we're going to talk about some of those things to improve your immune health. So number one, before I get started, I just kind of want to know where you're from. So if you get a chance, say hi, who are you? I want you to know that I'm interacting with you real time here. So tell me where you are and tell me who you are. So it'd be great to just kind of engage a little bit here. So let me know where you're from. You can just type it into your little keyboard there. And what I'm trying to do also is get you familiar with your keyboard, because I'm going to be giving away things, I'm going to be recommending things, and you can access that by typing some things in the chat area of the, I guess it would be your computer. So I think there's a border where it's under a line that you have to connect. So just, hey, give me a shout out. Where are you from? Jen, you got somebody on there? Dan's from Love Spark. Hey, Dan, thanks for being on. And if you have questions, I may not be able to address it here, but I can certainly get back to you. Our team is committed to you and your health and our community. This is community outreach for us. And so I want to be able to help you as you need the help. So number one, going back to digestion. Hey, Sarah from Roscoe, I hope you're doing great. Let me know if any of this helps out. I'm going to be giving away some free vitamin D. So hang in there towards the end. So number one goes back to digestion, but really it's the simple concept, and I want to give this plan for you. It's a daily challenge. It's pretty simple. It's the Simply Eat Real Foods Challenge. It's part of my book, my recipe book, but I'm going to give you the challenge for free. You can download that at nextlevelhealth.com. And part of that is I want you to understand what real food is. When you say it, well, of course I know what real food is, but what is real food? Real food was living at one time. And so whether it grew from a tree or swam in a stream or walked around in the woods or is growing from the ground, it's real food. So real foods are meats, vegetables, nuts, beans, and seeds, and fruits. So if you're looking for some guidance on what can I eat or what shouldn't I eat, get that Simply Eat Real Foods. If it's on that plan, it's the approved plan. You can just keep it simple for you and your family, which is, if it's real, simply eat real foods. Keep it that simple, okay? What I'm seeing is people are getting toxic guts, and we want to move beyond that. Step number two is supplements and herbs. There's a lot of them, and we can go into a lot of data and research on this, but again, time tested. I'm going to go through a few things that I do personally, and I would suggest to many of my patients. But again, your primary care physician, I want to be that for you. So come on in, but you should be consulting with them if you make any drastic changes with your health. That is a contradiction, I think. That's a concern to me. You're going to try to make positive improvements with your health. So let's go ahead and do this. Number one thing is vitamin D3. So let's just talk about vitamin D3. We're going to put that in a link down below. Here's my suggestion on this. You got to get vitamin D3 particularly if you're in the colder climates. So in the Illinois area right now, climate's changing, so we're going to be going inside. Many people are being inside right now. We're not getting exposure to sunlight. So vitamin D is really a hormone precursor, and it manifests from exposure to sunlight. And so if you kind of expose your skin, about a third of your skin, for 15, 20 minutes a day, like I have my daughter, my baby, I'll expose her to the sunlight for 10, 15 minutes a day. You're going to get that amount of vitamin D your body requires essentially for good immune health for that particular day. But a lot of us, we don't have access to that sunlight right now, or we're inside. So here's what you do. You want to get enough vitamin D. And so my suggestion is this: take half of your weight. So if I'm 180 pounds, half of that is 90, okay? And then if you multiply half of your weight times 100, that would be 9,000 for me. That's the amount of international units your body needs as a minimum per day, which means if we're not getting that minimum, your immune system's being compromised unknowingly. So that's where there's such a discussion about vitamin D, because the majority of people, particularly in the colder climates, we are vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D, if you think about it, you literally weaken your immune system by lacking it. So take half of your weight, times it by 100. This particular bottle, one dropper, which is this, one dropper, is 5,000 international units. So I need 9,000. I got close to mine. I always say round up with vitamin D. So just like in math class, round up, boom. That easy. You've just strengthened your immune system. It helps catalyze and is responsible for over 2,000 genes in your body. Just to understand, you need to be getting this daily. So as it relates to viruses, bacteria, and even cancer, the studies are in, it has a profound effect on fighting the bugs, we'll just say. It helps promote immune health, so you're going to be less at risk for some of those things and more prepared for the boxing match. We'll just say that. Hey, Mike and Lisa from Winnebago, Rich from Genoa City. Hey, Rich, hope you're doing great from Genoa City. I don't know where that is exactly, but Wisconsin. Okay, well, welcome. So vitamin D3, check the box. Get that in. And here's the thing, it's peace of mind. I know that I'm doing my part. I'm not just sitting back, being reactive, waiting to get clobbered by the boxer. I'm doing the things that I need to do. Number 2 is Echinacea. I love Echinacea, an herb. Let's just talk about Echinacea. My suggestion is 1,000 milligrams, roughly 3 times a day. The good thing about Echinacea, studies have shown, again, time tested. You can do the homework. I want the discussion to happen. Time tested, really good at beginning phases. So it actually has shortened duration of symptoms if you have the cold and the flu. So that's kind of been time tested. It shortens the duration, and it also shortens the intensity. So particularly important, like if I'm not healthy, I'm gonna try to do everything possible to minimize the significance and intensity of my symptoms. And Echinacea, again, 1,000 milligrams, about 2, 3, 4 times per day right now. It's gonna, on the front end, kind of reduce the severity, intensity, and duration of symptoms. Same with things like elderberry, we're gonna get to in a minute. So continue to do your Echinacea. Also, it may act as an anti-inflammatory, which helps reducing, this is important, this study's fine. It has a profound impact in fighting infections. It may act as an anti-inflammatory, and the studies show it helps reducing upper respiratory issues, reducing bronchitis. It reduces the amount of time you have symptoms of the cold as well as the flu. If you're someone like me, I used to, when I was younger, every year go through like an upper respiratory infection and bronchitis. If you're somebody like me, what I would suggest is stick to some Echinacea, particularly important for your respiratory health. So researchers have shown that Echinacea is as effective as Tamiflu, and another one, oseltamivir, at fighting respiratory infections. I can't even say that word. But here's the thing is, if it's better than those things and it's more natural, it has a less negative effect on your immune system as well. So keep that in perspective. So echinacea is important. Vitamin C, listen, you guys, we've known vitamin C has been helping people with your immune health forever. My concern is now that you know, you're gonna go and you're gonna pick up those little packets at the grocery store. We're gonna get into a couple of things, but look on the packet, and what you have to be cautious and careful of, those are easy because they taste good for a lot of people. And the reason they taste good is a lot of times there's a lot of sugar in there. We're gonna get to that anti-nutrient sugar in a few. But those packets, just watch out. Look at the packets, the ingredients, and just be careful that there's not too much sugar in there. That's why I don't like those. Personally, my preference is a liposomal vitamin C, and you can get that online. So liposomal, fat-soluble vitamin C, that would be my recommendation. Kids love, and I love this too. My wife loves this. So we use the C BioFizz. So in a scoop, which is about a teaspoon of this, you get about 2,600 milligrams of vitamin C, the good stuff, okay? Now we're gonna need to talk a little bit about how much vitamin C. Most people are used to maybe 1,000, 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. That's kind of like a recommended daily allowance. Not nearly enough of what we need. This may shock you. For some, it's not. If you're kind of more into natural health, you kind of already know this. Bowel tolerance is an issue, so ramping up to numbers it may be a sequence, but my recommendation as it relates to vitamin C is you should be taking about 12,000 milligrams 5 to 10 times per day. I want to see you get into that 10, 15, 20, even 30,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily, and you can do your own homework on how dramatically of an impact that has on your overall immune health. And that might kind of astonish you or take you back a little bit, like how possibly could you do that? Well, I got one that's got about 1,400 milligrams here. This is about 2,600 milligrams here. So in these capsules right here, also I'm going to take some of my C BioFizz. I'm just going to do about a teaspoon there. So it's an effervescent thing. It tastes citrusy. So for kids, this is awesome. I know Jen's kids, my master over there. That's 2,500 milligrams. I got this. All right, 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Just like that. So that's perfect. My immune health is cranking. I'm ready for my boxing match. And now we're going to continue to move on. So important to make sure you're getting your vitamin C. A 2013 review of scientific literature found that taking vitamin C was linked to improvements of the cold symptoms, reducing length and severity. But nowadays, my concern is that it's attained a little bit wrong. So here's how you go wrong. You know vitamin C works, so you're going to go get the orange juice. Orange juice, if it's been pasteurized from the grocery store, it's commercialized, those types of things, it's really been robbed of its essential nutrients, and it tastes good because it's highly concentrated with sugar. So essentially you're drinking sugar water, and that's going to have a negative impact on your immune system. So you're here drinking a glass of orange juice because you think it's going to help your immune system, and more than likely it's hurting you because it's got so much sugar in there. Again, an anti-nutrient that demands attention from your immune system to deal with. Sugar is a toxin. And so just be cautious of that. So you don't want to get them in those little packs that are sugary. You don't want to get them from the orange juice that's been pasteurized. You need those essential nutrients in there. And oranges themselves, again, simply eat real foods. It's the whole orange, real foods. Got fiber, enzymes, the things that are meant for you to eat to build your immune health. Just be cautious of where you're getting that through. Elderberry. How many of you know elderberry? Just give me a heads up if you've heard of elderberry. My suggestion is you're going to take about 2 to 3 milliliters of tincture. Generally comes more into You can get it concentrated into a tincture. So 2 to 3 milliliters every 2 to 3, 4 hours. It's well known for supporting the immune system, especially when you're dealing with viral issues. So it's time tested. Again, I would continue to do some elderberry. Probiotics. We all know we should be doing probiotics. What's the gist about probiotics? So probiotics, our next level naturals here, Simply Real Probiotics, soil-based probiotics. We have in one capsule, it's 50 billion with a B, 50 billion in one little capsule. And so what you want to do is you want to get into the 50, 80, 100 billion probiotics daily. It has a profound effect at replenishing or helping your B vitamins. It helps promote good digestive health because, again, we need to clean up digestion if we're going to improve our immune health. The other part is when we have to constantly be using these antibacterial soaps, hand wipes, antibiotics, the things that are antibacterial. When we ingest those things, they don't just wipe out bad bacteria, they wipe out your good bacteria. Your body's actually made up of more bacteria than you have human cells. Just think about that. So you are partly bacteria. You want to get the good ones. So when you're wiping out bacteria, you're wiping them all out. So to reestablish good digestion and good immune health, you have to be crushing probiotics. I would suggest roughly 50, 80 to 100 billion per day as a means to improve your digestive system, which is also in control of your immune system. So keep cranking on the probiotics. It's important to not only balance that bacteria gut biome, but as we look into B complex vitamins, that's why we're bringing this up. It helps to restore and replenish your depleted B vitamins. So B vitamins, this is a B complex vitamin. My suggestion is to get roughly, I like to do it this way. I want to at least get 300 milligrams in per day. You can do 300 up to about 600. Here's how I would do it though. You want to kind of start off maybe in the morning, afternoon. I just kind of know, like, if I take them a little bit too late, let's just say if I take them like now, tonight, it energizes me because it helps to promote energy. And so I have a harder time falling to sleep. So I would kind of make it more in the earlier part of the day, in the afternoon, if you're kind of like me. But I would suggest 100 milligrams at least 1 to 3 times per day, up to 6. But again, that's if you were me. Helping to replenish some of those important vitamins. It's helping your immune system. If you're feeling fatigued and lethargic, like many people are when they're kind of coming down with something, you want to start utilizing your B vitamins. If your dietary habits, your lifestyle habits, I'm your lifestyle doctor here. So if your lifestyle habits suck in terms of what you're eating, your gut may be toxic. You're going to have to do a little bit more probiotics and B vitamins. So you kind of want to, get that energy level back. So if you're chronically fatigued, then you tend to be a little bit more lethargic. There may be other things going on, but I would, be thinking about maybe a metabolic condition, a toxic condition, a digestive condition. Some of these things will help out. Probiotics, B vitamins. I think you're doing well with that. Next up on the list is zinc. Hot buzzword today. Everybody knows like zinc's part of something here, so make sure you got your multi-mineral. This happens to be our liquid multi-vitamin, multi-mineral, and it's a phytonutrient. So liquid multivitamin, multi-mineral, and multi-nutrient. You have to get your kids to start taking zinc. For kids, I'm thinking 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams per day. Sometimes they come in lozenges. So that might be a little easier. Careful on the sugar content with some of those lozenges, though. Lozenges, is that the word? Lozenges? I don't know. Potato. But for kids, 25 to 50 per day. Adults, I want you to get 50 to 100 milligrams. You have to. Here's what it does. A number of things it does, but it stops the proliferation of viruses, okay? It stops the viral load as well. So just continue to pour into that zinc, learn more about its effect on your immune system, particularly According to a 2015 analysis of clinical trials, zinc helps to reduce the severity and duration of colds and the flu. It performs best when taken at first signs and symptoms of something coming on. So pre-game warm-up is when it's most effective, meaning the training period for the boxing match, which is right now. You got to get your kids on 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams so that their immune system's on alert, ready to fight if it needs to be called into question for that bacteria, bug, viruses. Just keep doing it. Zinc for adults, let's do 50 to 100 milligrams daily, and you'll get those powerful antiviral benefits from zinc. Not my research, their research. So you can go ahead and look into it. One thing that helps out with some of that proliferation is lauric acid. So lauric acid can be found in a number of different things, but medium chain triglycerides has, or MCT oil, contains lauric acid. Your cold pressed coconut oil in your shelf that you cook with, because it's more stable with heat. I suggest you using cooking with coconut oil. Has lauric acid, but lauric acid helps break down you can think about it as it breaks down the bilipid layer of cells, and that allows your immune system to fight the viruses better. And so that's kind of where lauric acid comes into play. It breaks down the cell wall so that your immune system can kill that virus quicker. Has a lot of valuable benefits to your immune system. Typically, I would do about 5 to 8 tablespoons of coconut oil per day. MCT is a little harder because it can get your tummy a little bit nauseous. I just talked with somebody tonight about the disturbance in the tummy, maybe a little nauseousness. So just kind of back it down a little bit. But 5 to 7 teaspoons per day, I think that should help out, which is also the same as why liposomal vitamin C. So liposomal vitamin C, fat soluble, particular one that I like is Dr. McCullough's. I believe in there has MCT, so that's what makes it, or lauric acid. Yeah. So some triglycerides in there. It's got an oily base. That liposomal vitamin C. I like vitamin C and zinc from my friend Dr. Axe's. He's got a good version of that as well. Another one, we know that herbs are important, so very antimicrobial, antiviral is ginger and also garlic. So I like the raw garlic. It may be a little bit awkward if you're walking around your house with bulbs of garlic, but it has incredible antibacterial, antiviral, antimicrobial properties to them. So keep crushing and eating your real foods, your garlic and your ginger root. So at Whole Foods, you can do shots of ginger right now, so that would be awesome. We use ginger in smoothies. When I do juicing, so if you're juicing, I actually put ginger root in juicing. So you just try to figure out where you can fit it in the ginger, real ginger. Again, profound antimicrobial, antibacterial properties to it, antiviral properties. Hit the garlic, hit the ginger as much as you can. Don't come around me with your stinky breath, but just kidding, just kidding. So keep it up, you guys. Those herbs have some of the highest antioxidant values that are out there. They help to clear free radicals, which suppress and tax your immune system. So just keep doing those types of things. Okay, next one is bone broth, or really collagen. So you remember when you got sick when you were a kid, mom always told you to go eat chicken soup, right? Well, the science has kind of caught up to why that's so important. And part of it is when you just think about, like, when you're ill, you want to sleep, right? I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. Part of the reason is your digestive system's working overtime, and bone broth can help you to seal and heal increased intestinal permeability, which is really, we kind of use a term to describe that, leaky gut syndrome. What happens is your cells in your intestines, they create a gap, and it just gets wider and wider. And what happens is bacteria and food particles, things that are not broken down by digestive enzymes, they seep through this gap, and then they get into your bloodstream, and they just They create autoimmune responses. So if you're breaking out with like hives and skin-related rosacea, eczema, if those flare-ups are happening more, I think, you know, the idea is if you're seeing the flare-ups, you're probably dealing with some digestive thing that needs to get under control, gut dysbiosis. So just seal and heal the leaky gut. There's some amino acids within bone broth, particularly collagen. So our collagen complex has those amino acids to seal and heal glycine, leucine, these things to help you with your digestive tract. If you have an irritable bowel condition, a colitis, an inflammatory bowel issue, talk to your doctor. But one thing you might want to start looking closer at is, do you have something going on with your digestive system, particularly maybe a leaky gut issue? You know, look into it, figure out what's best for you, but I can certainly help you out if you want. We're going to kind of move on. So hopefully this has been helpful. Some vitamins. Let's start with that vitamin D3. Take your body weight. I'm 180 pounds. Slice it in half. And then multiply that by 100. That's how many international units you need of vitamin D per day. Okay? You're going to get that Echinacea, vitamin C. Let's move that vitamin C up. I want to be getting, if it's me, 10,000, 15, 18,000, 20,000, 30,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. We've seen studies that it helps to reduce symptoms of depression. It reduces symptoms of inflammatory conditions, but we have to get more to that therapeutic dose, not those little sugary packets that actually probably has a worse effect. So crush that vitamin C. Elderberry, make sure you're hitting your probiotics 50, 80 to 100 billion per day. Get those B complex vitamins. I really think we're missing out on some of those B vitamins, particularly if you have gut issues. Hit the zinc. Make sure your kids are getting that 25 milligrams, 50 milligrams. Remember, it works best in the beginning side of it. That's where it has a great impact. So it doesn't allow the proliferation of particularly viruses. So just hang in there. Lauric acid in the form of coconut oil or MCT oil, bad breath garlic, just kidding. Garlic and ginger root. I had a thought about garlic. I forgot about it. And then bone broth. So make sure you're getting your bone broth. Multiple ways you can get bone broth, and you can even get the collagen complex if you're just easier with capsules. Next, number 3, essential oils. Very popular now because they have such a profound impact in your health. As it relates to your immune health, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Here's my couple things I need you to know. When you're talking about how much, so we use a brand called doTERRA. There's other brands out there. When we're talking about this, our brand here, we want to think of as how much of it. Do 3 drops. Okay. Sarah from, where were you from? Roscoe. Sarah from Roscoe. How many drops? 3 drops, right? Dan from Loves Park. Yeah. Dan, how many drops of frankincense? 3 drops. My ones for your immune health. Again, we're looking at immune health is thyme. Do you say it that way? Thyme. Mm-hmm. Oregano, frankincense, and peppermint. Peppermint, particularly if you're using a diffuser. Listen, I've suffered. My high school friends would tell you if I was in the class in the winter, I was coughing. It was like a horse cough. It was every single year. Upper respiratory tract infections, particularly good with peppermint or breathe, particularly from doTERRA itself. You put it in a diffuser. So this goes on our nightstand. This is in our bathrooms. This is in pretty much all over our offices in the house. You can put various things in there. I diffuse this, again, waking up with a stronger immune system than I went to bed. Simple ways. Peppermint really helps open up your respiratory system a little bit. So one of the things I do if I am a little stuffy, whether it's sinuses or congestion, I put 3 drops of peppermint in my hands and just do this, and you'll be surprised at how alert and then how much better you could breathe. So here's my 4. Use them. How many drops? 3 drops. Thyme, oregano, frankincense, and peppermint. Great for immune response. This other part goes without saying. We're not going to camp out on this too much. Hydration is critical. you have to be peeing. So good news about drinking the amount of water your body requires for good immune health. The good news about drinking the amount of water your body needs for good immune health is you're going to be doing more squats in the bathroom. Just kidding. My timing's always off. I'm not the funny guy. Here's what I need you to do. As it relates to water, we're going back to your body, which is different than somebody else's body. Take your weight. Does anybody know how much water we should be drinking? You guys? How much?
Half our body weight in ounces.
Yeah, half your body weight in ounces per day. So it's not just 8 ounces or 8 glasses per day. It's half of your weight per day in ounces. So again, if I'm 180 pounds, I need a minimum of 90 ounces of H2O. H2O means not Coca-Cola, not Starbucks, not milk, none of those other things. H2O for proper, good immune health and really just body function. So we're going back to the word function again. Make sure you're cleansing through hydration. So if you want to get some of those toxins out of your body that are suppressing your immune system, you got to be peeing, you got to be pooping. So that's part of digestion, right? The peeing side of it is you're also eliminating things that can accumulate, make you toxic, make your immune system weaker, which means you're more susceptible to what? Exactly. Number 5, we're getting close. We're going to land this plane soon, is move more. And really the importance of moving more, whether you're on a stair stepper, you're walking in place, you're jogging in place, you're on a treadmill indoors. I'm trying to think of things we're doing indoors now. Maybe, have you seen those little trampolines? They're called rebounders, I think. Important piece of why doctors recommend maybe seniors in the aging population to use a rebounder, those little trampolines, is because it improves bone density. That's why they're recommending them to do that. And the reason it increases bone density is that it increases muscle integrity. Muscle integrity is very interconnected to bone density. If you have weak, flabby, soft muscles, you have weak, soft bones. They're directly connected. So the purpose of a rebounder, where they're kind of jumping on that, seniors or the aging, is they're increasing their muscle integrity, which is increasing their bone density. We use hypervibration platforms, but you could be walking in place. The reason I want you to be doing more of the movement is muscle integrity and really muscle contraction. The point about muscle contraction is your lymph system. So I hope you know by now that your lymph system, you know, when you go into your doctors and they start checking your lymph nodes, what they're checking to see is if they're swollen. And if they're swollen, that really means sometimes that they're actively working on something, right? They're fighting the bug, the bacteria, the virus. That's why they're checking. They're saying, hey, is your immune system kicked in? And so your lymph system accumulates toxins and it needs to be evicted. Kind of think of it like that. It needs to be evicted. So the way toxins get evicted from your lymph system is actually from muscle contraction. So if you're, how do I not offend you? If you are a couch potato and you are sedentary, you're not getting contractions of your lymph system, which means toxins are building up, your immune system is now weaker, and you're more susceptible to not just, you know, bacteria, bugs, and viruses proliferating, but you're also more susceptible to other dangerous things because toxins are seeping into your system. You're going to notice that you have more aches and pains, you're more lethargic, things are hurting more. And so simply by moving more, muscle contraction, muscle integrity, you're going to excrete toxins, bugs and bacteria by just movement. So get out and move more, whether it's a walk, a jog, get respiration going. Number 6, without saying, what time we got here? Okay, finish it up here. Stressing less. We know that stress wreaks havoc on your health if it gets to a point where the stress is too burdensome on you. So when you get a chance, I'm going to be doing a stress less workshop coming up here in the future. If you want to be attending just like this one, stressing less workshop or webinar, I'm going to walk you through step by step 9 points on what you can do in your personal life, your professional life, your business life on how to stress less, the target of executing. because stress raises cortisol, it depletes your B vitamins. So again, we're back to B vitamins. So if you're stressed, like most of us are right now, another reason why you have to get B vitamins, because stress is going to be depleting those B vitamins. What can I say about stressing less is just be mindful that it's happening. Begin asking yourself questions, is it worth it? You know, so as we're going into the holidays, Thanksgiving and December, you know, those are times when diseases and even things like suicide go through the roof, despite any pandemic we have going on. So the reality is, because of stress during those times, you are at a heightened state of stress in the holidays. I think of the holidays, that's when families are getting together, you know, we're exchanging, you know, fun things and having fun. It's meant to be like that. But what happens is people stress like crazy during that time. That's why there's more suicide. That's why there's more diagnosis. So just be mindful of that and reach out if you need to talk to somebody, okay? So stress less, we're gonna be working on things you can do for that. Rest and recovery, your body is repairing when you're sleeping. So think of like a wounded fawn, if that's the way I think of it, or think of like when you're ill, when you're sick, you just wanna rest. And what's happening is your body is healing, it's repairing at that time. That's when it's doing the work. So it's okay to take the time you need to get yourself where you need to be, which means get the proper rest and recovery. Try to get yourself to sleep by 10. Make sure you're getting that good 7-8 hours of sleep to replenish your much needed vitamins, synthesis, your much needed energy. But you can't do that on an empty tank. You know, just all these things work together. You're stressed to the max. You're depleted in vitamins that control functions. You're not getting any oxygen into your system. You're sitting there holding on to your toxins, like you're creating a mess there. So make sure at least you're getting the rest and recovery you need. Wrapping it up here is spinal hygiene. What does spinal hygiene have anything to do with the topics of immune health today? So let me ask you guys this. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers, your toes. I want you to wiggle your nose and look to the left and look to the right. And here's the reality. Every single bodily function that you have in your body, whether it's your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, your colon, your pancreas, your digestive system, your reproductive organs, male, female reproductive organs, every single one of those organs is controlled by the nervous system. So your nervous system, which is your brain, your spinal cord, and your nerves, they control all bodily functions. So think about that again. Which organ is your immune organ? Which one is it? There's not one. Which vitamin is your immune vitamin? There's not one. There's plenty of them. Which hormone is the immune hormone? There's lots of them. That's why no hormone's called the immune hormone. There's no organ called the immune organ. My question is, this magical dance which controls it all, what controls all of those functions? What controls every bodily function in your body? What is it? It's the power that's in your brain and nervous system. I kind of think of that as like electricity. Okay, so the lights are on. You know how you have that circuit panel in your basement and one string goes to the kitchen and one goes to the bathroom and one goes to the bedroom? Well, each one of those circuits on a panel, that's like your nervous system. And so if you had compromised nerve function, I want you to think of that. If I was interfering, whether you had like a scoliosis, a kink, a misalignment, chiropractors use the word subluxation, other doctors use the word misalignment, you know, but at the end of the day, you got that kink, you got that misalignment, you got that subluxation, you got that scoliosis, you have a degenerative spinal condition. Really now what you're doing is you're compromising your immune health. So if I slice the nerve or I slice the wire to the light, what would happen to the light immediately? It would go off, okay? So if I slice the nerve to your eyeball, what would happen to your vision immediately? It would go off because it controls the function of it, right? Just like my finger here. What's controlling that? My heart is a muscle just like my bicep. So what's making my bicep contract is the nerve function going to that. So if there's damage, if there's interference, if there's blockage, whether it's from a structural condition in your spine, a muscular condition in your back, you have a slip disc, that is now damaging or compromising, could be your neurological system. And if you're compromising that, you're really compromising functions of your body. Okay. So here's the culprits I want you to avoid. We just went through some practical tips and tricks that you can use. Here's the things that can sabotage your immune health. Aside from millions of things out there, here's the things I just want you to be conscious of, just like I would be. So if it were me, these are things I'm going to pay attention to as it relates to my immune health, and you should too for your family. Some of these may surprise you. Don't sabotage, which is undermine, destroy, delay the functions of your immune health, your immune system. Some of my top culprits that you can start addressing, we can talk about why later. These are the ones you will need to be mindful of. Refined carbohydrates, okay? Those processed carbs. The sweets and treats is a bag on the shelf. Those refined carbohydrates back to toxic overload in your system. Your digestive tract's gonna just get messed up. The other one we've been talking about, sugar and anti-nutrient. So make sure that you're avoiding sugar and things that turn into sugar quickly. Just be cautious of that. This might take you by surprise, but commercialized meats, think of it like this. We know that we've heard, I think a lot of people have heard that you accumulate toxins in your fat. And so sometimes when you release toxins, your fat begins to kind of go away. And so sometimes adipose is a protective measure. And as you're looking at animals, the beef, the chicken, whatever you're eating on your plate, be careful, because I'm always thinking about what has that thing been injected with? What antibiotics, what growth hormones, what type of things have they been ingested with? Meaning not just that they're injected with, and those toxins don't just leave the system, but they also accumulate in the marble or the fat of the steak. So just be careful with that. I was going somewhere with that, but it's sometimes what they're eating. So if they're eating grain, you got to be careful about the herbicides, the pesticides, again, antibiotics. I've heard, and whether this is accurate or not, again, sparking the conversation, maybe you could do some homework here, is my understanding is that 80% of antibiotics consumed in America, or not consumed, utilized, are in animals. And then we ingest those. So you just got to be careful. It's not what you're eating, it's what they eat or they're injected with as well. So be careful with that. I know this is going to upset a lot of my cheesehead friends. I'm a cheesehead with Scott tonight. Dairy, be cautious of dairy. I'm not going to go in a lot of detail. Science is in. If you're looking for dairy for bone health, you create metabolic acidosis. It kind of has a direct opposite effect, I believe. That's what some of the studies show. But aside from that, dairy has a negative impact on your immune health. Consider all the things that might be in dairy. So just be cautious. And we're going to focus on, you're not going to be perfect at this, but if we're trying to maximize your immune health, we got to start focusing on things that can tax it. And these things tax it, okay? So just be careful. White table salt. So really the white breads, the white salt, the white sugars. I'm not talking about pink sea salt. So I'm going to give you an example of that in a second if you want to grab a pink sea salt for me. So pink is the reason it's got that tint here is, well, we have about 70 to 80 trace minerals, back to minerals, 70 to 80 trace minerals in more of a sea salt type of things. So it actually has a beneficial effect on your metabolism and your overall health, whereas white salt can actually do things like your doctor says. It can raise your blood pressure, but the right salt is the key. Think about that. eliminate those things. I think this goes without saying, so I'm not going to point my fingers at you. Just be mindful of alcohol and soda. Soda, just be considering of the high fructose corn syrup that your liver has to now deal with. My understanding is number 2 cause of fatty liver disease is too much high fructose corn syrup, and it's not just in your soda. It's in your ketchup. It's in your barbecue sauce. It's pretty much in every other thing that needs to be sweetened. So be cautious of things like that. Alcohol and soda, tobacco. You guys get that point. If you want help with maybe a smoking cessation plan or something to do with nicotine, you can talk to your doctor. I'm not an expert at that, but just be mindful that obviously tobacco is going to tax your immune system because it's going to be working on you not killing yourself with cancer. Smoking those cigarettes, that's what your immune system is going to be working on. It's not going to be worried about this bug and virus over here. Okay, so just be careful. The excessive caffeine, lots of really good studies about coffee. So I'm a coffee drinker. There's lots of great beneficial benefits to coffee done the right way. We're talking about cognitive issues, less depression, better kidney function, better bowel function when it's the right type of coffee and not too excessive. So I'm always looking for a clean bean coffee. It's been kind of washed of the mycotoxins, which are microtoxins, molds, spores, and funguses on the beans. And that's actually what kind of gives you that little jittery feeling. A lot of people think it's the caffeine. It's actually you're having a neurological response to mycotoxins. That's why you get that jittery feeling when you're doing too much caffeine or an adrenal gland issue. Either way, be mindful of your coffee. My suggestion is stay away from those foo-foo drinks. I call them the fluffy foo-foo drinks. That's the ones that'll get you in trouble because we're back to adding sugars, the creamers, the dairies, and that's where your immune system is. Everything goes negative in that direction where there's actually some really good stuff in terms of positive if it's the right type of coffee. So again, we're looking for clean bean, freshly ground, and we're trying to stay away from those dangerous grounds from the fluffy stuff. So finishing up, artificial sweeteners, neurotoxins, do your own homework, watch the movie Sweet Misery, particularly if you got symptoms of MS. So often misdiagnosed, MS is due to neurotoxins. Think of them as termites for your endocrine glands and your neurological system. You might not be able to see them, but they're wreaking havoc on your health. Neurotoxins within, like aspartame, be cautious and careful of that. Medications and drugs, even prescriptions, do your own homework. My question now to you guys is, what's the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States? The 3rd leading cause of death in the United States. First person to answer correctly, you get a free bottle of vitamin D, which means you're gonna kind of have to let us know where we're at. We're gonna ship it to you. But you get a free bottle of vitamin D in my potent, this is our formula here, 5,000 international units per dropper. So if you can tell me the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States today, I'll give you a hint. It's on your screen. Be careful. Next question is, what is iatrogenic death? You will also get a bottle of vitamin D if you know what iatrogenic death is. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what you have to be watching out for. It's not adding more, it's about less, which means if we're going to get you healthier, that's going to prevent you from some of these. Jody won. Yay, Jody. Jody, what's the answer? The 3rd leading cause of death? Yes, adverse reactions to prescription drugs. Prescriptions, meaning they've been prescribed by your doctor in the right amount, at the right time, in the right dose, an adverse reaction, 3rd leading cause of death. And then the next question was iatrogenic death. What was that? Well, you're gonna have to do some homework then. Let's get back to it, wrap this up, that brain-body connection. So all of these systems, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, your glands, your hormone glands, your cardiovascular system, your muscles, all of that is controlled by what? We talked about it initially. So if you're gonna improve your immune system functions, then you have to improve your other functions. So that neurological component is the key, and I believe it's the missing link. That power got put in your brain and nervous system. So, think of it as the light power here, that electrical, neurological, hormonal impulses controlling and coordinating every body biological function. If that's being impaired, you need to know that's happened. When's the last time you had that checked? So that power flowing down your spinal cord, it's coming over those nerves. And if any one of those is impaired, studies have shown from multiple studies, the weight of a dime on a nerve can reduce it by up to 40%. My question is, would you know that that's happening if those nerves are going to your pancreas, if they're going to your spleen, if they're going to your kidneys, if they're going to your liver? Would you know it? The chances are often not, because we can feel fine again and have a lot of underlying conditions. So looking at your immune stress, now you have a better picture of things to avoid, some things you can do, and some things to watch out for. You have to be mindful of that stress. Do not cover it up with Band-Aids. If you have some of these warning lights, if I were you, I would have the missing link looked at, because your nervous system controls every single one of these areas of your body. Nutrition's pretty simple. You can last weeks without food. You can last days without water. You can last minutes without oxygen, but you can't last more than a minute without nerve function, that power from your brain to your body. So what if you could ask your body what it needs to be healthier? What would that mean to you? And that is where we're going to kind of take it from here. I appreciate you tuning in. So if you want a second opinion, maybe you are stuck with your health, you need to get out of the rut, maybe you just need a little hand holding, you need a little guidance, that's what I want to give you. I want to be able to give you access to the things that I know will help you with your health and ultimately your immune health. Okay, so let's not be reactive, let's be proactive. So for people paying attention tonight, if you go to bookrockford.com, I'm going to be able to give you an opportunity to have a consultation with me. We're going to sit down knee to knee, go through what your goals are, where you're at, where you want to be. Just like Mary and Tim, same thing. They walked in here and now we're into pounds lost, diseases shed, pills are in the past, and that too can happen for you. So do not give up on yourself, particularly if you're in a rut. If you're in a rut and you're in your head, you're struggling, I want to help you. So go to bookrockford.com right now. Check out the missing link. If you have not had your MRIs or your x-rays, I want to be able to take a look at it with you and show you. If I can show you you're blocking power to your thyroid gland, if you're interfering with those nerves going to your digestive system, if you're interfering with that nerve going to your pancreas, what would that mean to you? And so for $37, you can make that appointment just by going to bookrockford.com. A lot of questions. So we get questions up. Okay, well, the main question is, how long does it take? How many questions you have? We're going to set aside, I'm going to have my team set aside a minimum of a half hour up to 45 minutes to 50 minutes, depending upon the appointment you need. And I'm going to make sure that we're addressing the concerns that you have. Do you accept insurances? Well, for this particular situation, yes, we accept insurance. We're Blue Cross Blue Shield providers, a number of other insurances as well. My goal, though, is to address whether you are happy with your health. So if you need to get to the next level with your health, your happiness, your hormones, your lifestyle, that's what this is about, is meeting with you where you're at and getting you to the next level. And not everybody's in the same place. So again, because you watched this, we're gonna get you that vitamin D for Jody, and who else was it? Francis won some vitamin D. That's awesome. What she guessed right? Iatrogenic death. Okay, so now you know.
Sure.
Over 200 people per day die of pain pills. 200 people per day, pain pills. So that is an issue. That's only pain pills, let alone all the other types of medications. Iatrogenic death, has now become one of the leading causes, arguably the #1 cause of death in the United States, which did not exist a decade ago. So legal prescription drugs, medical errors, all of those things that accumulate into that. So my thing is, how do we rely less on that stuff and more on things you can do naturally to improve your, not only your immune health, but your overall health? Let's make an appointment. And because you watch this appointment, essentially we're going to sit down, have a consultation. If we decide we're going to move forward, we're going to do some exams. There's no obligation to do anything to begin or further care. If we have to look at x-rays or images, we're going to go through some reported findings with you. But I want to make sure that you get some good, solid directions, practical tips that I know will help you move forward. I have this kind of saying I like to think of, what's the worst that could happen? Let's correct that. We're entering into a new season, and it starts here. Okay, so procrastination is the thief of health. What's the best that will happen with you? If you're ready to take your health, happiness, and lifestyle to the next level, I'm Dr. Emmett Vlanik. I'll see you soon.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide.